Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today this video is going to be just like a mental health video, and it's going to be pretty quick because I just thought I'd make a video like this because I know ever since COVID-19 pandemic hit, I feel like a lot of people are struggling so much with anxiety and depression and just mental health in general. So I wanted to give you guys a tip on how you can deal with anxiety. And even though this is going to be a quick tip, and this video is not going to be the last video I make about mental health, and I want to make more of these videos. So please guys, leave your questions in the comments below about mental health, like whatever you guys would want to know, whatever you guys want me to make a video on. I would love to hear it. So write down any suggestions or questions that you have, because I just think mental health is so important, and I feel like people don't know about it as much as they want to. I know some girls in high school that come to me and they say like, I just wish there was a mental health class that we can take, you know. I wish I just knew more about it, because I really don't know a lot. It was just like eye-opening to me, like like a lot of people probably like don't know about, you know, mental health or symptoms or anything like that. And I just wanted to make a video on it because I just think it could help you guys. So I just thought I'd give a quick tip on how you can deal with anxiety. Now this tip it's not like the cure. It's not gonna, you know, magically vanish your anxiety, but it can just really help. So I just encourage you just to try it. Just try it, because it could help. And so the thing with anxiety in our mind is our mind creates these automatic thoughts. And sometimes these thoughts can be negative. They can be irrational, uncomfortable, and just thoughts that we just don't want there. We don't want it in our head. So what we do when we get those thoughts is we try to push them away, right? Because that's obviously the right thing to do, like the right feeling in the moment is to push them away. But then we realize that the more we try to push those thoughts away, the more they come back and the stronger they are. So the key when you have like anxiety or anxious thoughts or uncomfortable thoughts is, this is so important guys, is to accept those thoughts. Now when I say accept those thoughts, I'm not saying accept those thoughts that they are true, but just accepting those thoughts that they are just there, and just watch them just like a movie, you know, just like, you know, you sit back and watch a movie, or you like lay down on the floor and watch those clouds in the sky. Like, it's just like a movie, just like clouds, they come and go. But when we attach to those thoughts, when we signify any meaning to them, that's where the suffering really comes. And that's where we get these anxious feelings, and our heart starts to race, and we start to be shaky and just anxious. But when we learn to accept those thoughts, just that they're there, even when, you know, when we learn to watch them, when we learn to understand and truly believe that they will go, they will come and go, you know, everything becomes more peaceful. And the thing with this is, it's so interesting what the mind does, because a lot of people don't realize what the mind does, because we always live on so like automatic, and we don't notice our thoughts. At the end of the day, thoughts are just thoughts, and thoughts are not facts. So when we learn to kind of watch our thoughts as coming and going, it's just like a movie, it's just like clouds, we don't attach to it. And that unattachment will lead to less suffering in our life. Like, we don't realize, you know, when we live on automatic, when we let our, you know, mind do its thing, we don't realize how much we attach to, and how much that we believe is real, and how much thoughts, random thoughts, that we think is going to come true, or it is true. And that's where suffering is when we grab onto those thoughts. So learning to not grab onto those thoughts, and learning that they're just, you know, right here, right there, is an amazing experience. This is what like mindfulness and meditation is all about, is when you just sit, you know, and notice our body. Notice all the sensations and everything that's happening, and really put yourself in the moment, like now. Recognize what we see in this moment. When we recognize what we're hearing, what we're feeling, what we're smelling, what we're tasting, we are in this moment. And sometimes our mind, you know, even though our body and our soul and our human being is right here in this present moment, our mind is going to be everywhere, you know, with the racing thoughts and this, what if this, what if that, what if this happens, imagine if this, like creating scenarios in our head, they're not even there. And sometimes we kind of fall into that trap and start living in our heads instead of being in the moment. But when we notice that our mind does that, you know, taking ourselves away from the moment, thinking about everything when you're right here, there will be more peace in your life. And the more we notice our thoughts and what we tell ourselves and what we say, the more we will realize that they are just thoughts. You know, they're thoughts that come and go. That's just the mind, and that's just nature, and that's what the mind does, is it keeps going, but not attaching to anything that happens right here is the key. And the more we practice this, you know, the better we will become at it. And the more we'll notice, like sometimes, you know, we attach to so much that we think is real, you know, even negative thoughts, like thoughts that we're not good enough. If we attach to it, sometimes we live life through that perspective that we're not good enough. Or sometimes just normal thoughts that this is going to happen to me in the future. If we attach to that, we're going to live through that perspective. And maybe that will come true because of how we saw it in the first place, if that makes sense. So our thoughts, guys, are so important. And that's why we have to take time, you know, mental health check every day just to clear our minds and notice any negativity and restructuring that to positivity and strength and hope and faith. And the more we do this and the more we practice switching those thoughts from negative to positive, the better we'll become at it and the stronger that we will be and the more self-awareness we will have and the more faith and hope we have. And when we have that, we are able to lead our life and live our life the way we truly want to live without what goes on in our head. And it's so interesting what the mind does. Like if you really watch it, it's like kind of like funny. It's like entertaining because it's sometimes the most random, irrational things ever. And sometimes they're rational, but it's still kind of like, is that gonna really happen? Okay, but like, let me give you an example. Wait, what was it last time? What was I? Oh yeah, okay, so I had I was just sitting in my family room, right, the other day, and I had a random thought that a plane was gonna come crashing in our house. And that thought just popped in my mind out of the blue, out of nowhere. You know, like these thoughts can be so random and so irrational and scary and uncomfortable sometimes. But like, did that thought happen? No, it didn't. Will that thought ever happen? Most likely not. But if I attach to that thought thinking like, oh my God, that's gonna happen. Like, oh my God, that's a sign. Like I have to do something. That's where those anxious thoughts come. And when we attach to it, the more we'll believe it and we will act on that fear, if that makes any sense. So basically what I'm saying, like just to sum it all up, is when you learn to separate your thoughts, the random thoughts that you have every day, from who you truly are and your own life, you will realize how peaceful and quiet your life can be. You'll realize that your thoughts can mean nothing about who you are. And your thoughts are just purely not facts. You'll realize that your thoughts are just like a river. You know, just like, you know, like those bubbles in the river. They're just coming and going. But where are you? You are outside of the river. You're there, you're watching. And these bubbles in the water are just coming and going, coming and going. But when we look at a bubble and we think that it's true and we think that it means something or we think it's trying to tell us something, we jump in the water. And that's where we suffer. That's where we, you know, sometimes feel like we're drowning and we can't get out of the river. But when we step outside of the river and just watch the water flowing, watch the water coming and going, watch those little bubbles, You know, sometimes they're big bubbles, sometimes they're tiny, but all of them will just come and go. It will just come and go. At the end of the day, you will be who you are. Without those bubbles, without your mind trying to tell you otherwise. And it just like so much time in our life, guys, we live in our heads. We live so much in our, I can't even tell you all how much time I've spent in the past, you know, living in my head, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, thinking about all the what ifs. But when I learned, and I'm still learning, I'm not an expert, but when I learned to unattach those thoughts and fears and even desires sometimes, even the good, that takes away from the present moment of me being here and now. You'll realize that that's just the mind. And the more you come to know your own mind that you live with every second of every day, the more control that you have over your life. And, you know, sometimes that anxiety can come from that lack of control, but knowing that you can control your mind just by recognizing what's happening, that's power in itself. I really encourage you all just to try this and just to recognize what your thoughts and what your mind tells you every day, and even like just recognizing the most random things that pop up and not signify any meaning or ever attach to those thoughts, but just recognize that they're there without trying to push them away. And as comfortable as it may be sometimes, learn to be with it. Welcome it. Just watch it. It's right here. It's right there without attaching. And then pretty soon, it'll go on its way. So just be with it. And the more you do that, the better you will be at it. And the more you will notice from it. The more you'll really come to understand what I'm trying to tell you. And it just takes practice. It just takes persistence and faith in the process. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel scared. But just don't get stuck in that feeling for too long, and do something to make your life and yourself happier and more at peace and just more hopeful. So it's okay to feel this way, but just don't get stuck in that feeling for too long. So take care of your mental health, whether it's exercising more, or whether it's using mindfulness and meditation in your everyday life, whether it's eating healthier, whether it's even going to therapy. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it, and always work on yourself and figuring out what you need for more happiness and peace in your life is so important. You know, find it, because it's there, and everyone deserves happiness and peace. But sometimes we all just need that little push and that little help. So don't be afraid to ask for it. Stay strong, stay positive, and always and forever fight for your happiness. Fight for not only your health, your body health, but for your mental health as well, because it's so important. It's so important. So I hope you guys liked this video. This was just I don't know if it was quick actually. It might have been a little longer than I thought, but this is just a tip on how you can kind of deal with anxiety. I hope it helps someone out there. And again, if you all want to see more of these mental health videos, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for being here. And always remember to fight for your happiness, because you deserve it. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.